Sometimes it happens like this. Everyone around you is raving about a movie and you finally watch it and think, not bad, not great, just fine. And then you start wondering, is something wrong with me? I mean, these are people whose taste usually matches mine. I've been there too. And over time, I realized the problem often isn't the movie, it's how we watch it. So today, I'll share the mistakes I used to make, the little tricks I've learned, and why every movie night now feels like a small event. Take this for example. I used to start a film at night when I only had 30 minutes of free time. I'd watch a piece, stop, and plan to finish it tomorrow. And of course, the next day, the magic was gone. It's like biting into a slice of cake, shoving the rest back into the fridge, and expecting it to look and taste as good the next day. Spoiler, it doesn't. A movie is a story you're meant to live through in one go. You are watching Tail Bloom. Welcome to the channel. Another thing I learned, you need energy for a movie. If you come home exhausted and press play on some heavy drama, forget it. You won't feel the emotions. You'll probably just feel your pillow calling. True story. Once I fell asleep halfway through a thriller. Everyone on screen was terrified. The music was tense, and I was lying there like, what a cozy lullaby. Since then, I try to watch when I'm rested. Otherwise, you waste time and miss the whole point. And distractions, they're the worst. Phone buzzing, notifications popping up, someone asking you questions mid-scene. It completely kills the atmosphere. The director is building a world for you and you're yanking yourself out of it every 5 minutes. Psychologists even have a term for this. It's called the flow state. When you're fully immersed, you lose track of time. But the moment you check your phone, flow broken. That's why now I switch to airplane mode, make myself some tea, and let the world wait. Do you watch in silence too, or are you guilty of scrolling while you stream? Another discovery, movies are best in the dark. There's science behind it. Theaters dim the lights not just for mood, but because your brain focuses better when there are no competing signals. Even at home, I turn off the lights, and suddenly it feels like a private cinema. And speaking of cinemas, that's a whole other level of magic. Even an average movie feels elevated. The giant screen, the surround sound, the collective reactions of the audience. All of it makes it an event. Watching a movie in a theater can feel incredibly atmospheric. It's a chance to catch up with friends and soak in the collective energy of the crowd. But my video isn't about the social side of movie nights. It's about how to get the most out of the film itself. And theaters do have their downsides. People laughing too loudly, crunching on popcorn, or walking right past the screen can totally break your focus. That said, if you go during off-peak hours, sometimes you get lucky and the theater is almost empty. And in those moments, the experience can actually be perfect for immersing yourself in the story. I remember the first time I saw Game of Thrones on the big screen at a special event. That's when I truly realized how massive the show was. And later I learned they filmed it across multiple countries: Spain, Ireland, Iceland, Croatia. Those castles you see? They're real locations. For instance, the Dornish palace scenes were shot in the Alcazar Gardens in Seville, while King's Landing was filmed in Dubrovnik's Old Town. Suddenly, it's not just fantasy, it's history layered into fiction. Or take the series Severance. Did you know the infamous corridor running scene took almost 5 months to shoot? 5 months of the same white walls and endless turns. It sounds absurd, but that effort is exactly why the scene feels so suffocating and disorienting. The attention to detail is insane. And let's talk sound. Honestly, sound is like half the movie. If it's bad, even the best acting looks fake. I once watched a drama on an old TV where the audio was so muffled it sounded like the actors were talking through a drain pipe. Instead of tragedy, I got unintentional comedy. That's why I stick to cinemas or headphones now. And I'm not the only one. Studies show that clean layered sound increases immersion and makes stories feel more real. while flat audio weakens the emotional punch. So, if you ever think a movie is boring, maybe it's not the script, maybe it's your speakers. Here's another personal quirk. I often watch alone, on my phone, with headphones. Because when you watch with company, there's always that distraction. Someone cracks a joke, someone asks, wait, what did he just say? Or, worst of all, someone needs a bathroom break right at the climax. Looking at you, dear husband. Alone, I get pulled completely into the story. Even a tiny phone screen turns into a portal. And I like to Google things about the film too, cast details, behind-the-scenes stories. It changes the way you see it. I was blown away when I found out the Helm's Deep battle in Lord of the Rings took 120 nights to film. That's 120 days of rain, mud, and night shoots. No wonder it looks so epic. Or when I learned that Tom Hanks lost a ton of weight for Castaway so he'd look like a man surviving on an island for years. Suddenly, every frame feels like more than acting. It's a real physical transformation. After watching, I also love sharing impressions. A friend might point out a detail you completely missed, and you go, wait, how did I not notice that? I think when we talk about a film, our brain actually relives those same emotions. So you get double the joy, once from watching, and once from the discussion afterward. And here's a tip. Sometimes you need to watch a movie twice, especially the psychological ones. The first time, it's chaos. Plot twists, shocks, confusion. The second time, you start noticing details you missed, symbolism in colors, props, even costume choices. Filmmakers rarely do things by accident. In The Matrix, that green tint reminds you constantly of the artificial digital world. In Mr. Robot, Elliot's dark hoodies reflect his isolation and inner chaos. In Fight Club, on the first watch, you're floored by the twist. On the second, you catch the subtle Easter eggs, Tyler flashing on screen before his introduction. Repeated lines, odd foreshadowing. In The Sixth Sense, red appears whenever the supernatural creeps in. The red attic doorknob, the woman's red dress, the red balloon, and so on. This was a deliberate choice to make the audience subconsciously sense that something strange was happening, even before it was explicitly explained. In Dark, the switch between warm and cold tone signals shifts between timelines. And Severance also plays with color symbolism. Once you notice it, the color palette becomes a secret code running alongside the story. So, a rewatch isn't a waste of time. It's like rereading a favorite book. The plot stays the same, but you notice subtext, symbols, and emotional nuances you completely missed before. In the end, I realize watching a movie isn't just about pressing play. It's about creating the right conditions, dimming the lights, focusing on the sound, putting away distractions, maybe even learning a little background on the cast or production. Do that, and you'll experience the movie to its fullest. So tell me, what are your little movie watching rituals? Do you prefer watching alone or with friends? What movies have you found yourself watching again and again? And has a movie ever felt better just because you saw it in a theater? Share your stories in the comments. I'd love to read them.